So we are on our last round of Goosebumps here, and this one is in my top 5. I think I put this like at number 4. So the cover looks, I guess, in a way both scary and silly, just a little ridiculous. Um, the premise in some ways is kind of ridiculous too, because it is technically revolving around like an evil snowman, but I really enjoyed the way this book was written. It was very atmospheric, very cold. Um, we got to see, or we got to go to like a different place, even though it's made up. It's called, I think, Sherpia, but basically it's like it's a very cold place. I'm wondering if it's based on um, like areas around Alaska and like those kind of areas where it's very, I guess, maybe rural in a way, like a small village, but like in a very cold, area, that kind of thing. And this one's a little sad in a way. So this is about a girl named Jacqueline. She lives with her, I think it's her aunt. I don't think it's her grandmother. I think it might be her aunt. Because her parents have passed away. Well, actually, her mom passed away. She's never met her dad. So they end up leaving. I think she might have lived in Chicago, if I remember right. None of the book takes place anywhere in the United States. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I can't remember. She moves to this place called Sherpia, which is made up. Yeah, and I can't remember if that's supposed to be in another country, like I said, in like an Alaska area. But it's definitely nowhere near a place like Chicago or anywhere in that like Midwestern area. So anyways, yeah, she moves there, and all these houses have like these snowmen with like these scars. There's like an indentation like its face. They have like these red scarves, and they're like really mean looking. And of course there's like this legend that she's told by these like local kids. And yeah, things get a little creepy. And this one was just like a fun read. A fun, really spooky, like unsettling read. Even though, like I said, part of the premise is a little ridiculous, I do highly recommend this one. So How I Learned to Fly. This one is a little bit more adventurous and scary. Like, I can see how some concepts might be scary and everything, but it's more of an adventure fun book kind of thing than a really scary one. So this is about a boy, I can't remember any of their names, but he's basically kind of like in competition in a way with this one kid, or this one kid kind of like tries to upstage him all the time. One of those kind of people. I don't remember if there's any like direct bullying, like he doesn't like get beat up or anything, but it's, he kind of puts him down. He like, tries to upstage him all the time. So he finds this book that teaches people how to fly, and there's like stuff about fame and all that other kind of stuff in there. So yeah, it's more, it kind of seems like how a Simpsons episode would go in a way. It's like something Simpsons or like Family Guy, one of those kind of things where something like adventurous and wacky kind of happens for like a day, because somebody finds something that they're not supposed to be messing with. That's the kind of feel of this book. Chicken. So Chicken it was actually the first Goosebumps book that I finished from like front to back. And I know a lot of people hate this, but there are books that I just like a lot more. Like Go Eat Worms or Night of the Living Dummy 3. Yes, this one is kind of ridiculous, but it's a lot of Goosebumps fun ridiculous, right? So these two kids, they run into this woman that's kind of like, I don't know, she's described as kind of gothic in a way, creepy, mysterious, that kind of thing, right? And they bump into her, and they don't apologize or whatever, and she like puts this curse on them, and she basically turns them into chickens, right? Like their mouths go like really chapped and hard, and they start like growing feathers and that kind of thing. Yeah, the story is as out there and ridiculous as this cover. But at the same time, like I said, it's Goosebumps charm, right? It's so ridiculous, and the horror is so ridiculous. I guess this counts as body horror, and that's the kind of body horror that I can handle, because I can't do gore and really gross things, but this one is at like a level that I probably could be okay with. Um, but yeah, it's, I don't hate this one. It's got good nostalgia for me, because it is my first Goosebumps read. It is not the best. It is not in my top 10, but it does hold a special place. Uh, don't go to sleep. I really liked this one. This one had a lot going for it. It was kind of fast paced. I wouldn't quite say adventurous, a little bit more, yeah, on the fast paced, actiony side in a way, but not like fighting, more like running for your life kind of thing. And yeah, this one is a pretty scary concept. So this kid is tired of his room, and he goes to sleep in the guest room, which is like, I think, bigger or something. It's something better than his room he's got now. And basically every time he falls asleep there, he wakes up, I guess you would say, like in a different dimension. And there's like these, I think, dimension or time police that are after him and everything. It's just like a really good read. It's, yeah, just scary in that new world, not knowing what to do, where you are kind of concept thing. And yeah, it's never really slow. The Blob That Ate Everyone. So I had forgotten until I reread this book, because I read this book in school and I almost kind of remember where I was. For some reason, I remember little details about that kind of thing, you know, because sometimes maybe things happen or I finish a book at a certain place and it's like just in my memory. But I remember being like in school and reading this. Of course, I've read it at home too, but yeah, I remember taking this book to school. And I really did like this book. But again, it was a while in between school, like, you know, elementary school, and rereading it, like, in my 30s. So I had totally forgotten that the episode did not do the complete ending. Like, there's a twist ending in this one, and it is pretty much, in a way, like a previous book from the series, done differently though, but the same idea, the same concept, right? And yeah, I had totally forgotten that the episode was decent. So this is about a boy who is like, he wants to be a writer, and he finds this typewriter. I can't remember if he finds it. No, I think they give it to him, because I think like the store it was in got damaged. I don't know if it burnt down or it got damaged from a storm, but I think they either give it to him for cheap or they just give it to him. But the basic of the story is whatever he writes, this typewriter, on this typewriter basically comes to life. And so he brings his stories to life, which is where this blob monster comes from. But yeah, definitely read this one, because you probably wouldn't guess the twist. And once you read it, you'll understand what I mean. It's like another story. But anyways, yeah. Fun cover, fun story. The Blob That Ate Everything. Everyone. Actually, I think I said everything, and the last one is everyone. So, moving on to the next one. I know a lot of people kind of dislike this one, and I thought the main character at first, well, kind of throughout the book, is a little whiny, but I did enjoy this story. This one just has a big creep factor to it, just like this eerie feeling to it. Cool cover too. Like, everybody says the cover is good, but the story's bad. Maybe it's not one of the best, but again, I love the camp ones, and one day I'm gonna have to like do a ranking video on the certain Goosebumps names, like the camp ones, maybe Slappy books, you know, once I read all of them and everything. Yeah, just maybe I'll do ranking videos. I think that would be fun. Anyway, this girl goes to camp. She's not having a good time there. people are kind of annoyed by her, and she basically is being, I guess, followed, stalked by this ghost in a way. The reveal is kind of out there, because I think there's something about this girl, like, this ghost, I think she was supposed to have drowned, and then you find out things might not be exactly what they seem to be, or what you've been told, or what the character has been told. It's been a little while since I read this one, but I do remember liking this one. I didn't really like the main character, but I thought the story was like really creepy. My best friend is invisible. This one was okay. I like the cover. It's kind of fun. I like these colors. So this boy, just one day, out of the blue, stuff in his room is moving, it gets messy, and, you know, he hears this voice of this invisible kid. Of course, people don't believe him because he's saying that there's an invisible kid in his room, right? And yeah, it's basically about him trying to figure out what's going on, and then there's a very weird twist at the end. I thought this one was okay. It was a good story. Deep Trouble 2. So Billy and Sheena are back with their uncle, and this cover actually makes more sense than the first one. So there's something going on where, like, the fish are getting, like, really big and stuff, and of course they have to figure out what's going on. Yeah, this is another one that's more, I guess, science fiction-y in a way than straight up horror, but this was still a fun read. Yeah, that fish just looks ridiculous, and I love it. I still think I kind of like the first one a little bit more, but this one was still a good sequel. The Haunted School. So this one is an interesting concept. I forget exactly how it goes because it's been a couple of years now since I read it, but basically, this kid or these kids, they stumble upon like this secret area, or like this closed off area of a school, and it's like a memorial to kids that disappeared like years, decades ago and everything, and they end up like in this world where these kids are. I think it's through like an elevator that kind of goes wacky and stuff, and it's like this very gray world. So this book is kind of like depressing and bleak. It was a good read, but yeah, just definitely more of like, yeah, the more depressing ones. I'm definitely gonna have to reread this one at some point because I read it through like audio, but it was kind of like bad audio, so probably a lot of stuff that I missed or that I just overlooked. But it is a decent book. So, Werewolf Skin. So, not a bad concept here. I don't know if I like this one as much as Werewolf of Fever Swamp. I guess I pretty much can say because I don't remember as much about this one as I did the other one. But boy is staying with his aunt and uncle who are photographers. He likes photography, and there's like this house they want him to stay away from, and when they asked him like what he wanted to be for Halloween, he said like a werewolf, because you know he's into werewolves, he finds them fun or whatever, and they kind of panic and everything, so there's that mystery going on about what's going on with them and the werewolves and this house they don't want him to go by. It was a fun book. I just don't know if I liked it as much as the other one. Like, looking back, it's a fun story, but it just didn't capture my attention as much as that other werewolf book. I Live in Your Basement. This one was really weird. I'm kind of wondering why this wasn't like the end of Goosebumps instead of like the next one, because this one is basically a standalone from what I know, at least in the original series it's a standalone. So I'm kind of surprised that it's like number 61 instead of just like the ending. But anyways, The boy has very overprotective mother, goes to like this game he's not supposed to. I think he's not supposed to go there. Gets hit in the head, is on like bed rest or like, healing from his getting hit in the head and everything, and then he gets like this mysterious call from this monster saying that he lives in his basement. Yeah, this one was just super weird, super creepy. I'm gonna have to reread it again one day because, yeah, I was like doing stuff while I was listening to this one, and I forget like the disturbing stuff that people say happened in this one. But I do remember it being very creepy. Yeah, I recommend this one. It's not like a top favorite, but it is an interesting read. It's a little out there for Goosebumps. We have Monster Blood 4. This cover is just wacky. It's kind of cute in a way, kind of weird. I like the colors. I love that like purple and like that shade of pink and everything. It's just super fun. Yeah, like I was saying, I'm not really sure why it ended on number 4 for Monster Blood instead of just like a standalone. But fun book, kind of a short read. This one is where they find like a different type of monster blood, and it was like blue, and instead of growing, it multiplies and it like creates these like creatures and everything. Decent read. Again, I wouldn't have ended the series on that, but at least it didn't end on Goey Orm, so. And this one was fun.